I'm happy to announce I'm giving away a €20 or equivalent Steam gift card when I hit 1,000 subscribers. It's not much left now, and I figured it could be a fun thing to do to celebrate. To be entered, make sure you're publicly subscribed to my channel, like this video, and leave a comment containing the word giveaway. One comment per video please, or you will be disqualified. I will announce the winner in my 1,000 subscribers celebration video. Hello everybody, today we're gonna look at budget options for UR staples in Master Duel. A disclaimer before we begin, no card will be a one-to-one replacement and each card will have downsides and upsides compared to its UR counterpart. Let's begin with everyone's favorite insect, Maxi. And there isn't really anything that comes close to the power level of Maxi, but in how it affects the game I'd say summon limit is as close as you're going to get. Summon limit, as its name suggests, limits each player to 2 summons per turn. Maxi in a similar manner also discourages summoning. Moving on to something with a lot more options. Monster board wipes, namely replacing Lightning Storm and Raigeki. We get a free Raigeki from solo mode and a Lightning Storm from the bundles, but that still leaves 3 slots until you can afford to craft the rest. My first recommendation would be Dark Hole. It's a classic card, just like Raigeki, and it can blow up the entire field. This turns into literally Raigeki if you just activate it before you commit to the board. This is as close to a one-to-one replacement as you're going to get with any card basically. Evenly Matched can fill the same niche, but forces you to sacrifice your battle phase. This card has a bunch of upsides though. It forces your opponent to banish, which will work around most forms of protection, and it banishes face down, making the chances of your opponent ever seeing those cards again close to 0. And Evenly these days probably sees more play than Raigeki, so I was unsure if I even wanted to include it, but I figured hey, why not. Another good option for mass monster removal is Lava Golem. It specials itself to your opponent's side of the field by using 2 monsters as tribute, their monsters. Then it burns them for 1,000 damage each standby phase. And what's neat is that the tributes don't give your opponent a chance to respond, making it easy to use Lava Golem or Kaijus to clear negate monsters like Barone or Savage Dragon. Be aware that Lava Golem eats your normal summon, so it won't work for every deck. Next, we have Mass Spell and Trap Removal, Harpy's Feather Duster and Lightning Storm again. We have a similar situation to Maxi in that there's no other cards in the game that can destroy the opponent's entire back row, at least not generic. There are however cards that are almost as good. Hey Trunid can return all set back row to hand. This is pretty decent, but allows the opponent the opportunity to chain to it, and lets them keep the cards for next turn, which is a pretty big minus. Anti-Spell Fragrance would be the other board-wide budget option, and it makes all spells behave like trap cards, needing them to be set a turn before activating. It's proactive rather than reactive and has seen a lot of play when Runic was at its strongest, but it might just not do enough in the current meta. You have a lot of options that aren't board-wide. Cosmic Cyclone, Galaxy Cyclone, Twin Twister and Mystical Space Typhoon. There are more options out there, but these are my favorites. They all just remove back row in some regard, with other restrictions or bonuses attached to them. Next up is the board-wide negates, Dark Ruler No More and Forbidden Droplet. Now, we don't have negates exactly, but flipping face down is almost as good since a face down monster can't activate its effect. Swords of Concealing Light forces all of the opponent's monsters into face down defense and prevents them from changing their battle position for 2 of our turns, so basically 4 turns of the game. Basically a board-wide floodgate trap hole, and it's only a rare. I recently used this in my Scareclaw video and in testing it was fantastic. I own this card from way back in the day and I had completely forgotten it even existed until now. Another card that does almost the same thing but with a hefty downside is Book of Eclipse. Same thing here, flips the field face down, but at the end phase the opponent flips them back up and draws an equal amount of cards to the cards flipped. The upside compared to Swords it's that it's a quick play, other than that it's strictly worse. And that should cover the board wind stuff. Let's take a look at some more hand trap replacements. If you're on a budget and you see everyone running Ash Blossom, I have some great budget options for you. DROLL and Lockbird prevents cards from being added to either player's hand during the entire turn. It's a bit more specific than Ash Blossom, which is why it sees less use, but the effect to stop the searching and drawing is just far stronger. Gamma can also be argued as a replacement. It's a hand trap that negates monsters effect with destruction and summons 2 bodies, setting up for a level 8 synchro play. The minus being that we can't control any monsters when we activate this effect. And if we're only looking to negate Max C, this will do the job, and well at that. Decks that run level 8 synchros natively often run Gamma and Ash, which should tell you what you need to know about its power level. Mistake isn't a hand trap and it won't deal with Max C, it will however stop any searching being done while it's face up. In my opinion, this is the worst option of the 3, but I figured I should mention it. Imperm is another powerful hand trap that primarily negates monsters effects, but can also negate spells and traps. We're not going to find something that is as versatile as Imperm, but we can get pretty close. Gamma is again a decent replacement, allowing us to negate monsters, and Forbidden Chalice is probably as close as we're going to get to Imperm itself. It's a quick play spell that negates a monster's effect and buffs their attack by 400. Since it's a quick play, we can set it just like Imperm and flip it on our opponent's turn if we're going first. We can also use it in the damage calculation step to avoid some pesky negate monsters like Baron, since Chalice modulates stats. The obvious minus being that we can't negate spells with it too. Book of Moon is another quick play spell that doesn't exactly negate, but it does however force the monster into face down defense, meaning it can't activate its effect. Lost Wind lets us negate a special summon monster and set its attack to 0. It can also set itself back to the field if our opponent summons an extra deck monster. If you're looking for something more permanent, there's Fogblade and Fiendish Chain, which both do pretty much the exact same thing. They're continuous traps and will negate a monster on the field and prevent it from attacking. And honestly, just take whichever you think looks cooler, it's basically the same card. Next up, Called by the Grave. The closest we're gonna get here is DD Crow. It, just like Called by, banishes a card from the graveyard. It does however not negate the banished card, so it won't stop stuff like Max C. I guess you could argue with the Bestials to be in this slot too. They're less generic but arguably more powerful. And then lastly, of the replacements we're gonna look at, we have Ghost Bell, most often used as a counter to Called by, but also to stop stuff in the graveyard. And I have 2 substitutes. Skullmeister will negate any card that activates in the graveyard, which is similar to Ghost Bell. An Artifact Lancea will prevent all banishment, and therefore preventing Called by from negating our stuff. Lancea's effect will last for the rest of the turn and can only be activated on the opponent's turn, so be aware. And that's my list. Leave a like if you learned something, comment if I missed any awesome budget cards you like to use, and of course subscribe for more stuff in the future. If this video does well, I look into making more budget option videos, maybe covering the extra deck. I'll see you guys later, bye.